Yo, what's up, bro? Do you believe in God?
That's a complicated question.
I got time.
Yeah, in a sense. I don't believe in God and the stereotypical fucking sentient being in the fucking universe. I think that God is simply the laws of the universe and the way things work. I mean, it's that simple. Like, think of it like order and chaos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if there's so much chaos, it's bound to create order. Or so much order, it's bound to create chaos. Like, the best way I can explain that is like, think of like filling up a glass of water, and it being filled up is order. It's contained. It's in order. If you keep filling it too much order, it's going to overflow. It creates chaos.
Okay. Can I push back a little bit?
Absolutely.
So my question for you would be then, if we're talking about order and chaos, and this is sort of like an analogy for like God and the universe and stuff,
Yeah.
who is doing the pouring of the water? Who's pouring it? You know?
Well, nobody necessarily has to be pouring the water itself. It's like nobody's pouring the water off a waterfall. You know what I mean? It's.
But that water's coming from somewhere. It has a source, and that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. Is like, what's the source?
So the source, pretty much you're asking what energy is putting all of this shit into motion.
Yeah, where did everything come from? Yeah.
Well, from what scientists think, the Big Bang. I mean, I don't think people can really fathom how large of an explosion that is. It literally is making the universe continuously expand. That is an unfathomable fucking...
Yeah, I agree. So, like, even me as a Christian, right, I acknowledge the Big Bang as like a legit, scientific proposition as for how the universe was created. Because the whole thing with the Big Bang is all the energy and matter ever to exist in the universe is condensed down to this infinitely small spot, and then eventually that expanded, and now we get our universe. But if it's infinitely small, that's nothing.
Yeah.
So nothing can't create everything. Something had to do the banging. If we're going to talk about the Big Bang, something had to do the banging.
Yeah. So it's similar to how black holes are produced. It's not that it's so small and it's nothing. It's that so much was packed into such a small space. Like, think of like a snowball. Like, you can just grab snow and form a little snowball real quick, and it's loose. It's not dense. It's fucking or a fucking nug of weed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so the density is essentially they believe that so much got packed into this small space, and molecules move. They bounce around. They make motion. Well, it's believed that like so much was packed in this small space, it created so much energy from all that being trapped and nowhere to go. It's all potential energy that eventually it had to expel because it couldn't store anymore.
But I hear you and I agree with you. The problem is when we say the word small space, right? There was no space at all. You know what I'm saying? To have space, you would need like length, height, width, depth. You know what I'm saying? Before the Big Bang, there was none of that. So we're literally talking about, I mean, from what the scientists say, that there was no time and space started at the Big Bang.
I mean, from what we know, we really...
Yeah, we're going off of what we know. We can't go off of anything else. So from what we know,
what we think,
from what scientists say who study this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from what the scientists say, if there is no space, if time and space began at the Big Bang, then that means whatever caused the Big Bang has to be outside of time and space.
And that's where the fourth and fifth dimension idea and theory take place. We can't. So we operate in the third dimension, I believe, right? And
we have 3 dimensions: length, width, and height.
Yeah. So they say time is the 4th dimension.
Okay.
So once we learn how to time travel, we essentially will be in the 4th dimension, because time, and when you're talking space, time and distance are one and the same. You know, that's
right.
why we measure light years for distance. Yeah. So we don't know, and we probably never will know how exactly that came to be, because it could have been a fucking interdimensional, or a, you know, like, being that operates on the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th fucking dimension that we just cannot comprehend.
Yeah.
That created that process and put it in, you know,
that would be
into play.
That would be my argument. That
would
like
be our God.
That would be my argument. Yeah, if the universe is made of time, space, and matter, whatever created the universe has to be outside of time, space, and matter. And that's what we believe God is: timeless, spaceless, immaterial, powerful enough to create the universe. That's what God is, you know?
Interdimensional being, pretty much.
I mean, I would even say a transcendent dimensional being. Like, before there were any dimensions, it was him. You know what I mean? He would have been the one who created all dimensions: 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. You know what I'm saying?
And it's absolutely possible, you know?
Okay.
That's the thing about science, is that we really don't, we don't know 100% damn near anything, really.
Right.
Like, 99% of the shit we're taught that is supposed to be fact are still theories, because we haven't got enough information to close the book on it.
So are you agnostic then? You're not atheist? Are you agnostic?
I'm open. Yeah. I mean, like I said, you don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. You know, that's why I don't like to follow any religion, because they get so mad at scientists for pushing this, and that, but they're doing the same thing with their religion. They're going off of information they don't know is fact, and they're pushing it just like scientists do.
That's valid.
They're just on 2 sides of the spectrum, you know?
That's valid. Yeah, I think a lot of people have this idea that science and religion are like opposed to each other. And I would say science is opposed to false religion. But if there is a religion that is true, then that would line up with science, because science is true. Like, you can study the nature of, you know what I'm saying? So my next question for you then would be, what do you think about Jesus of Nazareth?
Well, we pretty much confirmed he's real.
Okay.
For the most, I mean, you know, it'd be kind of hard to deny the fact that he's real, just with so much written accounts. Now, the things he did, things he's done, or at least that people have written about what he's done. That's the thing about, like, really any of our history, is it's all written by other people. And at this point, we should know how fucking out there people can be, and how fucking crazy some ideas they have can get. It's hard to trust anything, really, like, when it comes to history, because it's all been written by another human who could bullshit as much as they want. Like,
well, let me
the picture of Jesus that we see. Just do that one more second, and then I'll.
No, you're good. You're good.
So the picture of Jesus that we know of, the Caucasian, long brown hair, fucking, that's not Jesus.
Of course.
That literally is. So the first Spanish Pope was their last name was Borgia.
Yeah, you're talking about Caesar Borgia.
Cesare, yes.
Yeah.
Is how they pronounce it, yeah. So, yeah, that's fucking Cesare Borgia, and people just accepted it. So that fact alone makes me think any fact could be.
Could I jump in, though? Could I jump in with that one, though? Because I think it's kind of funny, man. I think that people who look at quote-unquote white Jesus, right? Blonde hair, blue-eyed Jesus, Caesar Borgia, these images, right? I think the only people who actually believe that other people think that that's Jesus is non-Christians. I've never met a Christian somebody who actually reads their Bible, somebody who actually like knows their faith. I've never met a Christian who thought that Jesus actually looked like that. But it's people who are on the outside of Christianity, who don't know Christianity, who think, oh, Christians think Jesus is this. You know what I'm saying? So that would be
Yeah.
on the ignorance of the non-Christian, not the actual Christian. As far as Jesus goes, we know Jesus was Jewish, and the Bible doesn't really describe what he physically looked like, so it's truly not that important. Even if you look at Christian art from all around the world, you could go to Japan and look at Christian art. Jesus is depicted as Japanese. You could look at Christian art from Africa. Jesus is depicted as African. If you look at Christian art from Europe, he's depicted as European. So I don't think like the way a person portrays Jesus has any implication at all on who he actually is. Who he actually is found in the Bible.
No, my whole point with that, it was kind of drawn out, is that if they could fabricate the image of supposedly a very important being in our culture and civilization, and all cultures and civilizations, like you just said, almost every fucking country and culture has a picture of Jesus in some form.
How's that a fabrication, though?
And if we could fabricate, they just create what they want of how he looks, and people believe it. And when you said like,
because it doesn't matter how he looks. That's why every culture makes it in their own way. It doesn't matter.
But that's what I mean. If we could just make it up, that just means we could make up many facts about, and people are going to believe it. Like the only people, and you're kind of right, like the only people that really believe that he was Caucasian and fucking blonde hair, blue eyed, whatever, there are people who claim to be Christian, but they don't live their life to follow any of Christianity's, like guidelines. They don't go to church, they don't pray, they don't do anything. They just claim that they're Christian, but they're getting drunk and fucking doing whatever the fuck they want every fucking night, and God knows what else. Those are the ones, and it's usually ignorant white people, from what I've experienced, that seem to think that Jesus, no matter what, was white. Which, if we're being real here, he was in the Middle East, dude. Like,
yeah, I think, but I think, again, the reason that different cultures take license for how Jesus looks is because in the text that they're all using to learn about Jesus, it never talks about how Jesus looks, so they can make him look however they want. But in the text where it does talk about what he did and the things he said, you can't make those things up because we have them clear in the text. That's why. So I don't think that is a fair characterization. Like, oh, if one person can make Jesus look different than another person, then they can make up different stories about him. No, that's not true. All the stories about him have been written down from the eyewitnesses, the people who live with him, and have been copied accurately over and over for the past 2,000 years, and that's what we have. So there is no, people made up story. Like, they did, but we know which ones are false and which ones are true.
Well, but this is the thing too, is people are people, and people have their own vices. People have their own ways of operating, and from what we know, that it's been written down accurately. History is written by the victors, and we have no idea truly at what point along the far, down the line of fucking the written, recorded history, we have no idea if it has been fabricated.
We do, though, brother.
Because documents can be destroyed, especially when you don't have any way to save it.
But
you have is
you're not hearing. But you're not hearing me.
Burned.
That's what I'm saying. We and I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but we do
you're good.
have these recordings accurately. They've been copied over and over and over and over for thousands of years. So we have the ones that the latest copies match the earliest copies. They're the same. There was no,
from what we know, we don't know if there's missing documents. We just.
What do you mean missing documents? Like for example, if I'm talking about the Gospel of John, which is a biography on Jesus's life, right?
Yeah.
And I have John's Gospel from the beginning to the end. I have the whole manuscript copied. I have it all. What do you mean missing?
Well, that's, yeah, you have that, but I'm saying if there's a whole, like, say what you just explained, we don't know if there's any of like those missing. Like, what is it? A gospel, I guess, is what you call it?
Yeah, the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are the Gospels. Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't know if there's any of those missing entirely.
Like there might be a fifth gospel, another gospel somewhere telling you about Jesus'
or
life.
Maybe not a gospel, but one of the other, like, I don't know exactly what they call them. Fucking just stories, I guess, because I'm uneducated on what religion
and that's
calls.
okay, but my thing is, like, either way, say there was, and I like to stick with the Gospels because it's easy. It's 4 biographies about Jesus' life. It's easy.
Yeah.
So even if there was, say, another gospel, somebody else wrote a gospel and it's buried in the sand somewhere, how is that going to affect what we have today? Because when you look at all 4 gospels we have today, they all line up. Jesus lived, he preached, he taught, he died, he rose from the dead. They all say the same thing. So, like, I don't understand.
Well, but that's the thing is, you got to be open-minded enough to really, if you could be open-minded enough to think that somebody died and rose back to life, then I'd imagine you'd be open-minded enough to think maybe there could be information on something that would counteract and or completely disprove what everybody has written. Because the thing about religion throughout history is,
though?
The closer you were to God, you were essentially a celebrity. You were housed, fed, fucking had slaves. Like, you were taken care of just from being closer to God. So people throughout history, it was very common for people to try to fabricate and lie. And I mean, look at fucking Mormonism.
They did that. They did that.
Golden tablet.
Right.
Like, that's bullshit.
They did that. There are false gospels. Like, for example, there's a Gospel of Thomas that was written hundreds of years after Thomas actually lived. But we know that it's false. The ones that we have kept and we still read in church on Sunday to this day are the ones that we know that are true. So even if somebody pops up with another gospel that says, no, Jesus never died on the cross and never rose from the dead, we know that that's a false gospel because every other account that we have from Jesus' time, from the people who lived near him, say that he did die on the cross and rise from the dead. So another account trying to counteract that is not going to help.
Well, maybe it's not an account. Well, maybe there's not. Maybe there's gospels that were written in the same time that counteract that, but they weren't powerful enough to keep their written history.
But do you see how you're saying, like, well, maybe there's this that can prove it wrong, and maybe there's this that can prove it wrong, or maybe it's just easier to believe, no, these people actually did record the correct stuff. It's almost like, here's what I would say, and I mean this in the most respectful way. It's almost like you talked about being open-minded, but you have already made up your mind that you don't want to believe. So that's why you're like, well, maybe there's a gospel that can prove it wrong, or maybe there's this, or maybe there's that.
No, you're taking it the wrong way. I am 100% open to the possibility that those documents and everything, the Dead Sea Scrolls, all of it, are 100% accurate.
Right.
I'm trying to get it in your head that there is a possibility that all of that is fabricated throughout history, because people are
that is fair.
People are the worst of the worst. You know what I mean?
So let's say this. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're okay.
So let's say this. So I will grant you the possibility that there could be the Gospels, Jesus dying, rising from the dead, it could be totally fabricated. And you have granted me that it could be legit, it could be true, right?
Absolutely.
Based on the evidence that we have, right? Is it more likely that it's true or that it's fabricated?
Well, I don't think we really have dead set evidence. We have eyewitness testament in a sense.
That's
we
not
know
evidence?
that he was a real person, yes. But no, absolutely not. Eyewitness testament is not evidence. It is not evidence.
Why?
And it doesn't hold up in court either. Because
So, like,
it's not fact.
I don't think that's true.
Anybody is saying
I don't think that's
fact.
true. Like, for example, if I say I shoot somebody, right? And then they call in witnesses, and one witness comes in and says, yeah, I saw him shoot somebody with a red shirt on. And then another one comes in and says, yeah, I saw the guy in the red shirt shoot somebody. You don't think that's evidence to me being the guy in the red shirt who shot somebody?
If they don't have a gun, if they don't have a murder weapon, and they take a lie detector test and everything, and
well, lie detector
they may not know.
Lie detector tests are not reliable, though. Lie detector tests are not reliable.
That's what I'm saying. Well, see, and a lot of people wear red shirts. You know what I mean? So, who's to say that these two people truly know that it was you?
So you tell
they need more information. You know, like they need more. They would have to have some kind of proof, picture, or.
But if it's 2,000 years ago, there's no pictures. So why put that burden of proof if we're talking about something 2,000 years ago?
That's my point. Is it's hard. Like, how are we gonna? We can't really confirm because, you know, like Christianity. Yeah, we have all these written documents that are true and have stayed true throughout history. Well, so do other cultures and other religions, and. You know, we can't just say that Christianity's right and they're wrong when they have the same type of documentation.
I think we can, because in Christianity, those documents are claiming that a thing happened in history, a historical event occurred. Either that historical event did occur or it did not occur. The question that we have to ask is, all of the evidence that we have, does it point to the fact that this event occurred, or does it point to the fact that this event did not occur? And as far as like what you were saying, I mean, I don't know, dude. I think we don't live our lives that way. Like, for example, if your mom, I don't know about your family situation, but say your mom comes to you and says, your brother squirted ketchup all over the wall. And then you go to your dad and you say, Dad, did my brother squirt ketchup all over the wall? And your dad says, yeah, me and your mom were both there. And you're like, wow, so now I have two people giving me eyewitness testimony that my brother squirted ketchup all over the wall. Are you going to believe your mom and your dad? Or are you going to say, no, I don't believe it. Your eyewitness testimony is not reliable?
Well, maybe I'm a paranoid person, but I'm a very, my mind races a lot. So honestly, I would give them the benefit of the doubt, probably, but I would also be thinking like, well, is there a reason why one of them would do it or something? You know what I mean? Like
that's
just
cool.
Exploring the
you could explore those possibilities, but like all those possibilities are good. You're going to explore those in like a matter of a few minutes or something like that. And then you're going to make a choice. Do I believe my mom when she says my brother squirted ketchup on the wall? And do I believe my dad when he corroborates my mom's testimony and says, yeah, your brother did squirt ketchup all over the wall? Are you going to believe them?
I can't say I would 100%, to be honest with you, because I wasn't there. I wasn't there to witness it. I am a very unique person. Like, I'm not fucking the average person. Like, I'm stupid in a lot of ways.
I don't think you're stupid. I think you're a very smart person, but I think you are trying to protect your worldview from the holes that are being poked in it. And that's why you're saying, oh, I don't know if I would believe them or not. When I think in reality, you believe eyewitness testimony all the time. But because if we admit to that now, it will force you to have to reconsider Christianity, so you don't want to admit to it.
No. I have no problem with with, I would like to find out the truth and know and have that as a guarantee, regardless if it's Christianity, fucking, Hinduism, whatever it is, because it's the truth. It's the reality. But I just think I don't believe in eyewitness testimony, because I know how some people can be. I know how humans are we're the darkest, dog. Like we are the worst of the worst, because we know better, and we still do some of the worst actions on this planet.
Yeah.
With no remorse. So with that, but maybe I'm a pessimistic. Maybe I'm just fucking
it's all good, man. I do have to run, but this was a really interesting conversation, and I thank you for having it with me, man.
Yeah, it was too. You're intelligent, so when it's another intelligent person, it can be fucking could be a battle.
Thank you, my man. God bless you, bro. I'll talk to you later. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace.
You too.